Welcome everyone to another episode of Planet Nerdtooine. I am your host, Nerdtooine. We do an assortment of comic book related content here on the show. We do comic book reviews, we highlight indie comics, we talk about issues and drama that might happen in the community. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce the punkiest, rockiest influencer of all time, Year of the Collector.
Do not forget, I am this channel's punk sales rep too. Okay, so whenever somebody out there needs some punk rock, I will be the one selling it to them.
Listen, I all I gotta say is a lot has gone on in the comic book community since we've been off. We actually took an extra week off because there was an ongoing situation, which we will get into in a little bit. We're gonna save that towards the middle, towards the end of the podcast, because we're gonna get heated because it was a big issue. But we wanted to let it develop. We wanted to give the parties involved a chance to do the right thing, for lack of a better phrase. So we pushed back the episode. So we were going to be talking about that a little bit later. But since we've been gone, this is what the second episode. This is the first episode of the new year, ain't it?
Yeah, happy New Year!
Oh shit, man! I mean, we're releasing a little bit late, but this is the first episode of 2026 for Planet Nerdtooine, and I gotta say, we're starting off on a very controversial note for some of this. I have a feeling what we do at the end of the show, some people are going to really love and some people go really hate it. But
now
we'll
welcome
get more
everybody.
into that
welcome
later.
To 2026, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. Okay, we make it up as we go. Okay, we're just following everybody's lead at this point.
Yeah, it's only like we're recording this. It is only less than 10 days into 2026. And I feel like it's already been an entire year and it's just everything's out of control. So it's going to feel good to get back into the swing of this at least and talk about some comic book related stuff instead of everything that's going on in the world. But without further ado, I'm going to give a little introduction to the segment that me and Year have created called Hooked by the Book. Now, what we have realized is that there's a lot of times where we will read like a first issue of a series and go, wow, I can't wait to see how it really hooks us in. And that's what this whole thing has been about. We are creating a tournament. It's slow going, but we're going to have one more review or critique today. And then we have one more book coming for this first half of the bracket for the Hooked by the Book tournament. And then we'll start bringing on all the creative teams so we can talk to them about all these great books they've created. Shout out to T.S. Luther. Shout out to the whole sketch night community. We've had some really good books, and tonight we're going to talk about Do Not Disturb, which is another release from Invader Comics and Massive Publishing. And it's honestly, I have to admit, I was very impressed with this book. But before we start, I want to say that indie comics are such a great thing. And they are telling some of the most amazing stories and have some of the most mind-blowing artwork. And we talk about this all the time on the show about how indie comics have to be that way. They have to be, in our opinion, a step above when it comes to the creative team and the creative process and what they're actually sending out. Because a bad Spider-Man run will get 5 issues no matter what, and then they'll cancel and just reboot a Spider-Man run again. If Do Not Disturb issue 1 and 2 are not good, there probably won't be a 3. Like that's just how it is, and that's, at least we've read issue 1. It's definitely a book that we are interested in because it's getting featured and Hooked by the Book. So we wouldn't put it there for.
Let me take it a step further, right? We in the podcast were approached by the creators or the publishers to review these books, right? To spread the word and get them out there. We no commitment of anything. If we don't like it, if we think it's trash, or if we think it's not worth promoting it at where it is currently, right? With the art that it has, the writing that it has, we won't even talk about it, right? We have received
Yeah.
some indie books that we have maybe reach back to those creators and let them know, hey, you got something going on here. I think it needs to work. Good luck in your future endeavors. We don't cover it, but the Digger and Do Not Disturb, which we're gonna go over, Do Not Disturb here today. Me personally, and I know Kyle agrees with me. Um, I I thought they were so good that I wanted to go a little, I guess, further, a little beyond that. What we're gonna do here in the podcast, and I contacted people from their initiative, and I told them, because I'm one of the writers for the reviews that come out every New Comic Book Day.
Hmm.
And when they put out the list of the books to review for next week, I did not see Massive Comics in there as a publisher. I didn't see their books, so I went out of my way and said, "Hey, look, there's two books coming out next week that I already have review copies from the creators, from the publishers, but you guys are not on their press list, on their press emails." Is it okay if we review these books here in their initiative? And they said, I don't have a problem with it. Say, okay, let me check with Massive to see if they're okay, because they gave those books to us, Planet Nerd Initiative, not to Planet Nerdtooine. They gave the books to us, Planet Nerdtooine, not to Nerd Initiative. I want to make sure that they give me the green light, right?
Well, to be fair, actually, we got the Digger through TS.
That's what I said, from either the
Like,
creators
but
or
I'm saying,
from
like, just to make sure that's clear, because like we actually were reviewing the Digger before I even knew Invader Comics existed.
right.
So, but then we reached out to Invader, who is either the publisher or the distributor. It's still a little unclear, to me at least, what they are, but they are at least helping get these books out there. And they sent us Do Not Disturb, because I asked, hey, you got any books coming out that you want to get reviewed? And they were like, oh yeah, here, take this. We were like, okay, let's go. And I
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
and that
you
was
were breaking it down.
and that was my experience too. I talked to Luther, and I was like, Luther, I need your help. I want to review these books for Nerd Initiative, but I want to make sure that Invader Comics is, gives me the green light to do that, right? And he said, okay, sure, here is the point of contact, right? I emailed that rep, and he was like, I would love for you to review the books. What do you need from me? And I was like, cool, I already have the books. Um, if you want to take it a step further and add their initiative to your press releases, right? So I can review the following issues, your issue 2, 3, however
Right.
these series are gonna go. I can review them through their initiative like that, right? And he said, "You got it." So I put them in contact with my chief editor, Matt from the Hops Keats podcast. Shout out to Matt. He was game. He was like, as long as there's nothing problematic about the books, we can cover them. And I was like, I had checked them myself. They're good.
Yeah.
You can see the copies to spot check if you want. He said, I trust your judgment. Let me know whenever they reach out to me. And it was good. Their initiative now is going to be reviewing these two books
Good.
from Massive Comics for new comic
Good.
book day, because we think they're just that good.
So good. Unbelievable. And before we get too far into it, I do want to say that if you are interested in potentially being a part of the Hook by the Book competition, please we are open to reading everything. We may not review it, it may not make the cut, but we will definitely take a look and give everything its fair shot. And without further ado, all right. So
Okay, let me give you the deets before we start. This is Do Not Disturb number 1 from Invader Comics. The writer is Gerard Hunter Rowe, and the writer artist and what sorry writer artist is David Flores, in colors by Lorenzo Scaramella, and letters by Letter Squids. I'm guessing that's a
That's got
brand.
to be a company.
Yeah, that's
or,
letter.
or someone's handle. That
Yeah,
I love it. I
yeah,
saw that was like
Letter
letter squids.
Squids.
All right, I'm in. I'm in. Fair enough.
In
Fair
there,
enough.
the editor is Barnett Bretler. Here is the solicitation. Do Not Disturb is a mystery slash thriller with a great supernatural twist set within an infamous hotel called the Argyle. The story follows private investigator Randall Halsey, Halsey, I can't pronounce that, who has been hired to find a missing young woman, only to realize she and him have been murdered. Not letting that stand in the way of solving the mystery, Randall has to maneuver through both the human and supernatural worlds that lay within the walls of the Argyle, traveling through time itself to set things right.
And I think, Do Not Disturb is a perfect example of why you don't need superheroes in a comic book. This book, honestly, like I didn't ever for a second doubt the quality. Like even when I just like skimmed through it just to take a look at some of the art, because sometimes you can tell just by the look of a book at first glance whether or not you're going to be really into it. And I was like, all right, this looks pretty cool. All right, this is probably going to be a fun read. And then when I go to read it, I was actually blown away how much I enjoyed it. It kind of is like a, a murder mystery that would just so happened to happen in The Sixth Sense.
Right.
Like that's kind of how I felt, and I thought it was. I mean, especially if we look at some of the coloring and then even the lettering down to the T, it's just so top notch. And like I said, we were talking before, indie comics have to be that way. And like even on the very first page, when you get this gorgeous view of the Argyle Hotel, you got Randall outside just looking up at it, basically telling the backstory of this like infamous hotel. And it's kind of like a lot of hotels in horror and murder stories, murder mysteries, where in its heyday it had the glamorous appeal of all of the rich and powerful, and now it's basically run down and it's not a very good place to be. But in the case of the Argyle, it's also haunted, like legit haunted, like not like someone put like a speaker in the in the vents so you can hear scratching. No, like there are legit ghosts up in this hotel. So what was your first thoughts of Do Not Disturb?
So the first thing that jumped out was like first picture, like the first page. You have, like you said, the image of Randall outside of the Argyle looking at it, and you have this forced perspective of the building, like being the angle of the camera like going up. And the first thing I noticed was like the line work. I was like,
Yeah.
holy crap, right?
And there's a lot on that cover, like on that first page. Like it's
yeah,
not like they could hide. They literally had to do such great work to
it,
get that to look like the way it does. It's
it's such a
fantastic.
good page that they turn it into a variant cover for issue number one. If you,
Yes.
yeah, so that's exactly, if you like the variant for issue number one, you're gonna get a lot of that throughout the issue. Crazy line work, perspectives, the color palette that's used throughout the book is giving you, you know, a retro feel to everything, right?
Yeah.
Like when you go to a big casino or a big hotel that had its heyday in like the 60s, you go in there and you feel like you're in the 60s. And that's what this the coloring is giving you, that color
Absolutely.
palette of, like just pre the hippie era. Specifically
Right.
in
Yeah.
you
Like
seen it.
with the beiges and then the greens and like the orange, like right before they went full Flower Child and put all the colors in.
Exactly.
Like
um there's a lot of forced perspective, like those angles, or like the hallways all the way through the back, the lobby of the hotel. You get a lot of those, right? But also, they did this cool thing, the way they set up the panels in each page.
Yes.
You have like how do you say this, like a flow, a rhythm between panels that at no point I feel like, okay, does this go left right
Right.
or
Right.
up
Right.
down and then left right? No, like it was intuitive to follow
Yes.
the story in the panel. Like it was easy to me to
I
follow
I
along.
love
No,
I
no,
love that how they had like the bigger images and then the little panels
in
on top
front,
of them, and
zoom
it like
in.
and it
Yeah,
always like you can always tell
yeah,
where the scene was going. And like for instance, like in like one of the early pages, you see in one of the bigger panels, this guy's hanging up a Happy New Year sign, and then the other panel that's floating on top of it is where he's walking out, and that sign is behind him now
yeah,
instead of it being next to
yeah.
him.
Like I
It
said,
was so well done.
the panel is flowing so well. Like imagine this background, right? And then like this comic book here is like zoom in, and then this one is zoom in, and then
Yep.
okay, they want me to see this, and then want me to see this specifically in a larger size, but they also want me to see everything that's happening or everything that is in the back. It was
Yeah.
beautifully done.
Or the like, I also like, remember the scene where he's getting off the elevator and walking down the hall. Like you've got the one big page, the whole page is just the him in the hallway at the end of the hallway, and there's panels laid across each other with the lettering going down in a like so like even if you got confused by where the pictures were, the lettering and the words that were he was thinking to himself as he's walking down this hallway, and when he's looking up at like the elevator bar, it's like you can, like you said, you
It's
follow it
plotted.
so
It's
well.
plotted, and that's the
It's
other
just
thing. The lettering, like while you have like all these kind of like bright tones and sharp tones in the back for the coloring, the narration dialogue bubbles were gray, right?
yeah.
And they were like kind of like in contrast to the background. So you had them above like the small panels, kind of like plotting where to go next, how to read it. It was perfectly executed. Um,
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And it's literally every page. Like even like when he's about to go to the door, you see him walking, and he's walking, and then you like they put a panel like superimposed onto it, and it's like a close up of the handle that says "Do Not Disturb." So you're basically looking at what he's looking at.
yeah,
Like so, like every single page. I remember thinking, wow, this is really good. Like even like while I love the story too, because it is very intriguing and something we'll get into in a second, the art and the how well it was done made me love the comic from the jump. Like the story could have been trash, and I still want to get to the end because of how good they lined everything up. Especially as a creator, like I'm working with my artists to do what they're doing, and I know how hard it can be to get what they're doing to work.
yeah,
It's not easy, and they should be very proud of the work that they've done.
yeah. I think this is one of those books or one of those reads that you know what they're going for, and that um, previous experiences with the tone or the plot or the story, like kind of like helps to fill in the gaps of the experience. Like the best example of this is at the end something is revealed, right? And there are other people, other characters, unnamed people in the background that are kind of like in the same situation as him. And when it dawns on him his situation, everything everybody else is turned into shades. You only see the silhouettes, right? And that highlights uh, him in among this sea of people that are like already
Right.
living in the situation that he just found himself in. And you can hear like a high pitched violin when it's closing on him, because this is like a thriller. Like you can feel in those gaps with,
Yeah.
like, you can hear the music, you can hear the sounds, you can like it. it it is a world built in a genre. And because
Yeah.
you are familiar with stuff like this, you know what this like the missing elements are, like the music, right? The sound, the
Right.
sound effects, the people talking in the back. Like you like this is, I guess it hit the nail on the head when it came to like the genre of being a thriller of the supernatural
Yes.
stuff, right? It was so beautiful. And
Yeah, Do Not Disturb really knew what it was. Like it knew that it's a crime thriller with supernatural elements, and it leaned into it in the best of ways. And like even when how they introduced the fact that there was supernatural, it was this bewildered cop trying to solve this what he thinks is a murder, and he tries to reach out to touch the person, and his fingers go through her, and he's just like, whoa. Like
yeah,
and the way the coloring that they did with that to show like the ghostly fingers through, like everything about it was done very well, like, even to the point where like it took you a second to realize that he's dead. Like it was had that Sixth Sense vibe where it's like he thinks he's still alive for a minute here, and then he's like, and then he realizes he's definitely not
yeah.
alive anymore.
Spoiler,
Like
but yeah. Um Freaking, I also like that there was gonna need there was going to be a need for exposition to explain what is happening, right? Or they could have just let people figure it out, but they had
right.
another character as a mouthpiece to
Yes.
that they use
That
that they use the plot, right, to have that character do the exposition as they were explaining stuff to the main character.
it was
um
basically Magnum PI. Let's be real. Like
Basically,
that character is Magnum PI and everything but the name. Like
yeah. So I also like that too, that there wasn't
yeah,
necessarily like some monologuing, or like the character ran up into like a script where he read and learned, or he went to
right.
one and off character that explained everything. No, like the person that explained the stuff to the main character is gonna be in the story. Like you can
Right.
tell
No,
because
that's it's brilliant. Like we talk all the time about having these long bubbles that you have to read. You got to pay it off somehow, or figure out a way to tell it in a unique way. And Do Not Disturb did that very well. They entered, like you said, they had this character that was basically another cop that died in the hotel, and he's kind of basically telling this new the rookie how the game is. And they're sitting, because he's sitting in the room looking at his dead body and all his quote unquote friends coming in talking shit about him, and he's just sitting there. And then that's when we see this new character who basically laid it all out for him. And when you have to tell either the reader or a character, or they have to figure it out, I hate personally when I read books that have just these like only for the reader dialogues. So where then the rest of the issue is the character finding out what we read in the very first panel.
right.
Like I find that so annoying. So to have, instead of having that, to have a character, a funny character, a likable character, one that you actually want to hear what he has to say, be this exposition mouthpiece. It's absolutely beautiful. Like the quality of this storytelling is very high. It's very similar to The Digger, where you're just looking at this going, wow, this story feels so rich and so like it doesn't feel like the first issue. It feels like this is a long running series that we've been reading for a while.
Yeah, I also like that the motivations of the main character spawn from like out of spite, basically. Like he's there as a private investigator to go do basically like a wellness check on somebody that has
Right.
been missing, or not missing, that somebody that's been away from the family, and the family wanted to check on, the status of their daughter. And when he gets there, somebody's running out of the running out of the room, dressed in full black with a face mask. So a crime has been committed. He tries to shake down the perpetrator, and the perpetrator just faces to through a window. And
Yeah.
and the main character, Randall, he's like, what the hell, like, what happened? Let me go check on this girl, Sarah, I think her name was. And when he goes back, she's dead. There's cops there. And then that's when he finds out that he's also dead, right? Because
Yeah.
he got struck by the perpetrator when he walked into the room. And the police that's at the crime scene, they're talking shit about Randall, that he
Yeah.
was a bad cop, that he lacked motivation, that he was terrible as a detective too, and even worse as a private investigator. And now
Right.
contemplating mortality after being dead, because he's still processing that he died.
Yeah.
He hears
Exactly.
he hears people talking about him, right? His life is over. Nobody's gonna remember him for being a good cop. And out of spite, even after in the afterlife, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna solve this crime,
Right.
right?
And
Like,
the guy who the exposition guy we were talking about, his name is Detective Oscar Morin, and he died in 1973.
yeah,
And so I don't think they give us the exact like date of this, but I'm gonna assume it's closer to our time. So he's been dead for quite some time, and we learn what this whole building really is, because it's not just, they ain't just two ghosts walking around. It's almost like the entire building itself is a ghost. Like you there are certain places in the building where you just, as a ghost, you just walk through. Like they go to this ice machine and they just walk through it, and bada bing bada boom, they're in the 1920s.
yeah. And it's crazy because before that, they go through a wall and they land in like a different floor. But then they go through the ice
Yep.
machine, and then they're in the lobby in the 1920s. And that's when you see like the other ghosts hanging around. Um, because here's the thing, this is not hell and it's not heaven, right? The
Right.
the ghosts are here because once they walk out the door, on the main lobby, they never come back. So they really don't know what happens when they leave. So they rather stay lingering in.
And I think some of them don't even know either. Like, because it when they go back into the 20s, Eddie's walking through what's like a ballroom, basically, because it's
Yeah,
at the heyday of this
the
hotel.
hotel.
And this gorgeous dame walks by, and she's like, "Hey, Oscar," which doesn't make sense if you think of, if you think about the fact that they know they're dead. Like, I don't think all the characters that are in, like, especially when they go back in time, they're ghosts there because they're all dead now. It's not like they're the ghosts of people who actually, all of them died in the hotel. I don't think all of them did. Like, and when they go back into the
we
different times, we don't know.
we'll
I mean,
find out who, yeah, who
it's
are
still just issue
ghosts,
one, but
who knows they're dead, who doesn't know. um but yeah, it feels
because
like
Eddie was not there alive in the 20s. You know what I mean? So for it to have one of those ghosts interact and just say, "Hey, hey, Oscar," you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
wait,
that's what
are
we was
you hooking?
talking about. This, it feels like a lived
Is he
in
hooking up with
world
the ghost?
already.
Is he hooking up with that baddie? What do you think?
Magnum PI, 100%.
With that stash? With that stash?
100%.
Oh
That's
yeah.
Thatch, a winner.
Oh my god. And then one thing that, like, it was they after they do that, they then go through this other door and they change the year, and they go to the storage room. The year is 1928 on the first floor. And so the way they can drink in the ghost realm is by drinking extinct drinks. So he picks up a bottle of Prohibition era fire water, and literally that's what like he can drink because that no longer exists. So like I said, when it comes to the it's just being about ghosts, it's not like it's the whole building in and of itself
It's
is
haunted.
just
Yeah.
a big haunt, and it's I love it. It's every like I remember when I first like in my head I'm like, all right, where are they taking this? And then when they jump through that door and he picks up that bottle of liquor and starts drinking, I was like, okay, I like this. This is fucking interesting. There's my one so far. Because and they explain it that it's that this hotel it basically has all the history of the hotel contained in its walls in this supernatural realm, and ghosts they can go through the different ones as long as they know where to go.
Yeah.
And it's really like I you know, when you think of a supernatural crime thriller, it seems kind of simple in your head, but then when you start to unpack the layers and the
There's so
different
many
ways,
possibilities of the things they can do, things they can explore. They can crisscross the different generations of people that are in the building. There's the crime to solve, the perpetrator
right?
that run away. Like there's so much stuff that they can seek
And
in the plot or even the subplots that I'm excited to see where it goes on issue 2.
and then one thing I think we skipped over, you know, when he sees that guy, the ghost, jump through and get away, you know, through the window. We learn later in the book that if you go outside, that's it. You're done.
No, but it was specifically if you went through the front door of the lobby. If you
So
go
it's
through
just the
those
front
doors,
door. Okay,
you're
okay.
never coming back. Because no, that's what he said. He doesn't know what happens because nobody has come back to like check to let them know. Like, hey, I went out there. This is what happened. Nobody's ever come back. Nobody that walked through those doors has ever come back. So
So
maybe
I think that
maybe the
that
person
person
that
that he was
went through
chasing.
the window that he was chasing just went through another floor or to another town, just like they
So
did when
that
they went to the ice machine.
that's possible, but I think it's clear that that's a bad guy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I'm gonna go. I think that there might be something going on with their ability to use the windows because that was clearly a window outside. The way that they've done everything in the other parts where like they went to different parts, they clearly were in and inside the buildings, going through walls and doors.
except this
You know what I
guy.
mean? So that for this one person, right? So I'm wondering if a ghost figured out had to go through the real world, and that's who killed our main character here, Randall. Is a ghost that learned how to break through and come to our world, and that's how he can escape and no one can find him because did I just spoil the whole series
Maybe,
and what
maybe, maybe he's killing people. So there could be to add to the numbers of the people in the Argyle or in the ghost side of the Argyle, because eventually some people get tired or wander off or leave, and he don't want to be there alone. He wants more people to
or maybe
join.
wants to
So
harness them. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
there's always that side of the supernatural realm where you like have like a ghost trying to get more powerful, and in some lore, like ghosts can absorb other ghosts and become
Or the
more.
Argyle itself needs a certain amount of ghosts to
Ooh, I
function.
like that.
You
I
see what
like
I'm
that.
saying?
That's a good one. I like that.
There's
Yeah,
so
there's so many
much. Listen,
there's so many possibilities with this
Do
book,
Not
and
Disturb comes out what is it, January 14th?
January 14th, yes.
Yeah, January 14th. Go to your local comic book store. It's gonna be there. Pick it up, pick up the digger, and if you like it, call your LCS and have them add it to your pools, to your subscription, so it can get pre-order and be extended or at least fully published. Let's say, because
Right.
This series definitely deserve it. And we're not. This is not just because it's a publisher that you never heard before doesn't mean that it's not a thing. I personally call my LCS is called Muse Comics here in Colorado Springs, and I told them exactly what T.S. Luther told me to say. I want the Digger from Massive Comics. You will find it in the Lunar catalog. And lo and behold, no problem. That's all it took for
Yep.
George, my guy over there, to add it to my pools. Okay? If you like Pulp Fiction with supernatural elements, if you like the Sixth Sense
Yeah.
movie, do not disturb.
Yeah. Pulp Fiction is a very good reference point, because while there wasn't actual time travel in Pulp Fiction, the story was told out of order, so it kind of felt like there was time travel. So yeah, it's very. That's a good. I like that.
It was
Yeah,
in the notes. That's the first.
I
I
like
in the
that.
notes.
I like that. But yeah, so definitely a book that is worthy of the Hook by the Book competition. I'm so happy and thankful that Invader let us get a look at this book before it came out. I'm actually really glad that it took us a little while to get to this review as well, because it's going to come out the week of its release now. So hopefully it can gain a little traction. And you know, I am a big fan of creators going on a limb and taking a wild shot at a genre, and this was a one hell of a book. Um, uh, David Flores deserves all the credit in the world. He wrote and drew this book as well. I More power to you. I wish I had the type of talent you do. If I could draw my own books, I'd have 1,000. No, but it's
There's a very few select, or you can count in one hand. Let's say the amount of like even pro comic book creators that write and illustrate their own series.
and well, there's a lot of people that do it, but there aren't a lot of people
Right.
that do it well.
That's what I say. At the professional level, you can count like maybe with one hand the ones that actually do it and get paid for it. Right? It's very difficult.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jared Hunter also Jared Hunter Rowe contributed, because obviously he's credited as a writer
Writer,
as
yeah.
well. So this story was honestly, it blew me away. I knew that it was gonna be good, but I didn't know it was gonna be this good. And again, that shout out to Invader Comics and the whole creative team. If you are interested in this book, please tell your LCS you want to get Do Not Disturb, and don't forget the Digger as well, like you already mentioned. But it's so important and so good. I'm gonna say it again. That information was so precious. It was so important that we had to say it twice. Now, with that being said, I think it's time that we transition over into the angry part of this episode, because we got some issues. Marvel released the Ultimate Endgame Blind bags, and it went, let's just say, horrendously. These There was a widespread damage issue with these blind bags, and it didn't help the fact that when they were released, Marvel was away on break, because it was released during the holidays as the last new comic book day of the year. So it didn't help that all of these damages were being seen and people weren't finding out what was going to happen. And you know, the one thing I will say is, initially, when we were planning to do this last week, and I was ready to like drop, like hit every Armageddon button there was. Like I was gonna go and scorch earth on Marvel for how they handled this. And granted, now I've spoken to at least 15 vendors who had these blind bags. They were being offered. Initially, they were told, "Sorry, we'll just send you replacements." Oh well, that's all we can do.
So before you continue, the issue was like you said before that New Comic Book Day was on the 31st, right? And retailers were basically left holding the bag and exposed because even though some retailers do get the books, a week ahead, a couple days ahead, or like the day prior, right? Depending like where your LCS is located,
And the
and
size of the LCS too.
the
That
size
plays
of
a
the
part.
LCS too. That's definitely still a thing. Um, Reports started coming out that the books inside the blind bags were damaged, right? But because not everybody gets their order at the same time, you can't get multiple sources of confirmation from different areas, right? Because if like all the books that arrived early, let's say in Florida, were damaged, then all you can say is that all the books in Florida or the batch or the bulk that got specifically shipped to Florida was damaged. So something must have happened in that shipping route, in that shipping process, right? But like I was saying, there was no way to confirm if this was a widespread issue or not, and the rumors were getting out. Retailers keep their ear on the on the street, so they know what's happening. And new comic book day comes out. Let's say your LCS didn't get the books until the day prior. They didn't open any books, or they only open the ones that they're gonna have for themselves, or like the ones that the clients that they have that do promos for the stores or whatever, for the
Mm-hmm.
social media content. Outside of that, all they knew was that books were coming in damaged inside the blind bags, and because
Well,
it was the 31st, right? Marvel, Lunar, everybody else that is supposed to be handling customer service for something like this were out of the office because of the holidays. So retailers were standing there with really no answer to give for their customers. My LCS, as soon as I came in through the door, he was like, "Have you heard?" And he held a blind bag. And I was like, "I have. What are you? What does it look like here?" And he said, "Well, like you heard, apparently the books inside the blind bags are damaged. They have spine ticks, and some of them even have like color breaks. I opened
mm-hmm.
three." He said, "I opened three. Two of them were damaged. One was not. Um, I don't really know if these books are gonna get recalled or if they're gonna be doing store credits for us or something, because you call right now and you can't get a hold of nobody because they're out of the office. At least
So
that's what he said for the 31st and the first. And up until then, we still have no like solid answers of what was gonna happen."
no, just one thing that this was all done through Penguin, to my knowledge,
Yeah.
over Lunar. Because actually, I know people who had Lunar books that and had issues. They were actually able to get people at Lunar, so they were working through the break. Good on Lunar for that. But one of the things that made it an issue really was if you go, because I'm very big watching. If I'm going to invest in something, anytime I see something from a random creator, either on TikTok or Instagram, and they're opening blind bags or talking about, hey, we got these promos from Marvel, I take a look. I want to see what they pull. Almost every one of those promo ones were clean. They looked stunning. And after we had all the reports of the issues, I then went back and watched those, and they zoomed in. They were clean. And I also know now, one of my buddies who is a retailer, he had a huge order, and he got two separate kind of boxes. One was like almost like a prepackaged box, and then one was shipped like with them kind of loose. And he said that he had almost no damages at all in the pre-sealed box, and then the ones that were loose, he had only 65 total out of like I think he said like 1,000 books. So he ripped 1,000 copies and got 65 damages. Where I know people like Trolls Comics ripped 200 live on his YouTube channel, and every one of them was damaged. The retailer that I worked with, he opened 5, and every one of them was damaged. So it's a big problem because there were some people who were, I don't know if they got them for free, so it didn't matter, or they're being paid to say it, or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. But they were ripping these packs and being like, yo, look, I got the Momoko. Look how awesome it is. I'm so happy with this pull. And then in their video, you can see like 5 spine ticks, completely damaged book.
Yeah.
Didn't say a word about it. And there was a
And
lot of people.
let me say this. Marvel shit the bed on the ultimate line since day one, because I have been pulling all the series except Black Panther. The Black Panther series I stopped at like issue 12, but all of these books came with stains or some form of spine damage because they're white covers.
Yeah, it's about to say, especially those Ultimate Wolverine white covers.
And,
yes,
and the way they've been packaging, the way they've been handled, they all come with some form of damage. They either are stained because of the books pressing on each other on the staples, or the quality of the paper that Marvel is using. You rough something off, and the color is gonna smear or it's gonna tear or stuff like that. This has been going for 2 years now. I don't have one single Ultimate book that is in mint condition. They all have something, all of them. And I have gotten a copy. I have gotten a copy from my my retailer, and I'm like, this one's a little iffy. And he will tell me, by all means, go check if you find one in a better condition in the shelf. They all came like that. Right.
Well, hey,
and then,
here,
you would think
I actually have a few that are crispy clean, so we might need to talk so I can get you some of these crispy clean ones.
I'm telling you,
not a lot of them, but
you might want to double check, because like white covers are sensitive. Like that's beside the point. It's the way that they're being handled. Like a lot of them come damaged where the staples are, right? And it's because of the way they're being handled in the shipping. You would think the blind bags, right, that the hottest commodity in the comic book industry will be taken care of, I don't know, a little better, hopefully, and not the case. We're not huge fans of blind bags, but we are fans, we're consumers, we will indulge in the festivities of the moment. Here and there, let's say I got me too, right? Because the 31st was a slow week for me. There was only like Mario books on my pulls. So I was like, you know what, George, go ahead, pull the Momoko variant, right? That's a giver.
Right.
Pull the Send For variant, because I want those two no matter what, right? I love those two.
Right.
And pull me the main cover, because I have like all the main covers for like all the series, right? And because I have room to spare in my weekly budget, at 2 blind bags for me, all right? Because they were like $5.99 or something like that, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. I opened one bag, and it was the Scotty Young cover, spine ticks. All right. I didn't necessarily was hoping for the Scotty Young, but it's not a bad cover. I love Scotty Young. Sadly, it's a damaged book, so I'm probably gonna have to keep that. And then the next one, I haven't even bothered putting in my books, in my short boxes, because this is the little sleeve that the books had inside the bag, right? I kept that, and then inside my second blind bag, I got a main fucking cover, and it's not just a main cover; it has an ink stain right in the in the corner. Bro, I was so pissed off. First of all, why do we have main covers inside blind bags? I hate that.
Mint covers?
Main cover. This is the main.
Sorry,
main cover inside a blind. Why? And then it's also damaged?
Bro, to be fair, we've been saying it from day one. The Battle Beast, they had covers A, B, and the blanks. The Ninja Turtle one that just came out, they had A, B's, and blanks. This is not new for the blind bags.
This is the Scotty Young, if anybody was wondering. It's cool. I like Scotty Young. Right? That's the sleeve that came in. That's the two. And then the other variants, you can look them up. The Momoko and the Send For. Absolutely have to get those. But good thing about them, pull them and didn't just like uh, um, what is it called? Like, roll the dice and got me a bunch of blind bags. Because like
Right.
a buddy of mine, he got 5 blind bags and like 4 of them were like the Picture Moko cover. Like, I ain't trying to do all that.
And they were all damaged too.
And they're all damaged.
But okay, so I have to admit, we talked about I've been very vocal about how I don't like the blind bags as a consumer. I understand it from the business side. I'm a creator, and believe me, I'm thinking about doing blind bags. That's how big blind bags are, is that I'm thinking about doing it with my book. But I will say there is a right way to do blind bags. And I actually bought the 2 bags of the Supernatural blind bags. So they had a limit to 2,000 blind bags. They were $20 a piece. I got it for a little bit cheaper because I got 2. And they had 3 books. They came with a blank, one of 4 or 5 different blank covers, color-wise. And then every book in there was only available in the blind bags. So
That's
for $20,
that's how it should be.
Exactly.
That's how it should be.
I have to admit that I got those, and I'm like, you know what? That's how you do a blind bag. I felt so good about that purchase. I was like, hell yeah! I got a couple foils of like the main covers for issue 1 that I enjoyed, and then I got 2 of the Haunting. They did 3 movie variants, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is how you do a blind bag. But to go back to the Marvel blind bags, one thing that really, really, really pissed me off that I saw very early was there were a lot of retailers on platforms like eBay, whatnot, Instagram, that were selling them at a premium. Like we never name names on this podcast because we're not clout chasing. We're not trying to start drama. We're just talking about what is happening. I saw a vendor before the release date on one of those platforms selling those blind bags, the damaged ones, for $50 a pop. There was 4 straight, 1 book now, $50. And guess what? It was a cover A, a Pizza Moko, and then a 1 in 50. But guess what? They were all damaged. And every single time the guy was like, yo, what a pull. This is amazing. Oh, look, you got the cover A. Woohoo! A damaged cover A for $50. Are you out of your fucking mind? There's 2. Like, I'm sorry. That is unacceptable. And then so later that night, I actually was on one of the platforms and I saw a guy selling them for cover price for the $5.99. It's actually, it was starting at $5, so technically $1 off.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, you know what? I know these are going to be damaged, but I need to buy a couple for myself to open just so I can see how this vendor is going to handle themselves. They, not a single time did they say they were damaged. Not once. And I knew buying them that they were damaged. But I had to see. I bought 4. And every last one of them were damaged. I got 2 Momokos. I got one of the wraparounds, which the wraparounds, a lot of them came, even in damage packs, came not too damaged. Mine was damaged all to hell. And then I can't remember what the other cover was, but it wasn't even a Scotty, wasn't anything at all. But I mean, the one saving grace, and I think why Marvel and Penguin didn't jump to react, is because the big hitters, like the sketch covers and things of the higher ones. I mean, I did see a 1 in 1,000 that was pretty badly damaged, but the sketch covers, they were fine. I've seen a couple of them pulled, and all of them look immaculate. There's still 2 Robert Downey Jr. ones out there, but the thing that's happening now
let
is
me take that back. We forgot to mention that the whole reason. Okay, like a lot of the very inside the blind bags, you could have just gotten off the shelf, right?
Technically, all of them. I mean, depending on, besides the ratios, which
exactly the only things that were exclusively gonna be found inside the blind bags were the ratios. I think the blank covers, maybe, don't quote me on that.
No.
And
you can order the blind covers.
There's these special sketch covers that Marvel sent out to creators ahead of time to do a sketch, or they were to to do some sketches, then send them back to Marvel so they could be added to the pool of the covers that were going to go into the blind bags. And there
Right.
were another set of covers that got sent to other people to get signed. So there were signed covers inside the blind bags and sketch covers inside the blind bags. This is the reason people got on the blind bags, because they were chasing those special variants, right? Not
And
necessarily
to
because
my
they
knowledge,
wanted, not necessarily because they were trying to get the Scotty or the Sanford or the Momoko or the
right.
whoever. It was just to chase those special ones.
Now, those, to my knowledge, everyone that's been pulled so far that has sold for over $250
I mean,
each one. Which I'm listen. I'm not saying that to be like, how dare someone spend $250 on that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that's the value floor.
that's
Like
yeah,
there's ones that have
that's
gone for
the market
300,
value. Like
400,
stuff is worth what
and
people's willing to pay for it. We're not pocket watching here. So that's
right.
not what we do here. Um, I think the best blind bag that was done last year was DCKO, because every single cover inside DCKO was automatically a foil. If you didn't want to like spend the money on the blind bag, you couldn't gone it. You couldn't have gone. You I want to say like more than half of those variants, outside of like the racial ones, they were on cardstock
Mm,
material variants,
right.
which in DC it's like $1 extra, right? So like if
Yep.
you like the Frank Cho variant and you didn't want to gamble with your money, you'd pay $1 extra from whatever 4.99 to 5.99, and you got the Frank Cho cover. It was just cardstock. If you wanted to roll the
Yeah.
dice, you bought the blind bag, and you could have gotten that Frank Cho
A
cover
foil.
or anyone else's, but it was a guaranteed foil.
Right. And see, and that's and I think it's really funny because there's a lot of people on social media being like, who would put a cover A in a blind bag? Everyone. Basically everyone, but the KO, but like the Supernatural. But there's been a select few. I'm not saying every blind bag has been more than has every blind bag has had a cover A and all those in it, but majority of them do.
But
It's just
KO, that
now,
was the only exception to the rule. But
yeah,
everybody else had their A cover in the blind bag, which I think is
and
a bad
an
practice.
excessive amount of them as well. I saw one dude, man. Like I felt so bad watching this clip. Like he literally opened 5 blind bags in a row, and it was cover A, cover A, cover A, cover A, blank. I was like, son of a, I would be heated. Like, and that's the problem with these blind bags. I mean, we've spoken about the problems with blind bags for a while, and they just keep finding a new way to make it even worse somehow. But the one good thing, and like I said, I'm kind of glad we did wait, because I said I've spoken to retailers who bought a whole bunch. I spoke with the retailer that I work with, and they are allowing people to get credits so that they can use the money they spent on the blind bags to buy something else. But they're asking for those copies to be destroyed. Like that's what they want. If you facilitate this refund, you're not allowed to this credit. You're not allowed to sell them. All the ones you have on your marketplace need to come down, and they need to just be destroyed. Which I'm going to say is kind of problematic for multiple reasons. One, because you're going to rely on the honor system. A lot of these vendors are not very honest, so that's not a good idea. You should be required to do some kind of like verification, but
Like
to my knowledge, they're not
it used to
asking
be
for
back in
that.
the day that they would tear the book and send back like the cover
Right,
to
right.
the
No,
publisher,
they're not
to
asking to do that.
the distributor.
And so some people I guarantee are gonna get a credit and then sell them anyways. Double dip, and it's bad because there's no way for a buyer to know if a vendor did that. So a whole bunch of people could be unwilling supporting that practice because the vendor's not going to be like, hey, I got a credit, and guess what? I'm going to sell them anyways. I'm not going to do that on the live. I mean, some might because they're stupid, but for the most part, if they're going to do something like that, they're just going to hop on one of these platforms or go to a show or with some comic convention somewhere and sell them like they never got that refund. So that's a really scary prospect, and I would hate to destroy, like, just my thought process of, like, if you destroy like that one of those Robert Downey Jr. sketches because you got a refund, like the eternal damnation of your nerdy soul would be complete. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting there like, can we all just agree that to not destroy them and like just not sell them and not be shady about it? Like, just open them all just so like that precious commodity doesn't get destroyed because 80% of this run was damaged. Like, that's all I'm asking. Like, for the love of the comic book gods, please don't let someone throw away the Robert Downey Jr. sketch in the trash. Please, I'm begging you. I don't need it. I would love it, but I don't need it. But please, like, don't let that happen. I would hurt. I feel like I would feel it. Like, I feel like I would sense the disturbance in the force. Like, oh shit, someone just threw away the Tony Stark. Oh shit. Like I feel bad saying stuff like that, but I mean that's the truth. Like, it was a very bad situation made worse by the timing, and I feel like there was a lot of people that just didn't seem to give a shit about having any type of class or decorum. Not only by, like they've done with all of the other blind bags, selling them early, opening up before the retail date, but also not informing people they're damaged. Like I said, when I tell you, I kid you not, I have the screenshots. I'm not putting the person on blast, but I will be glad to show my work if I have to. There was literally $50 for damaged books. Like, it's disgusting. And the guy was like, yo, what a pull, it's amazing. Woo! You lying sack of shit. Like, I'm sorry, that's wrong. But yeah, I mean, I definitely not happy with how that turned out. And I bought in. I got 20 copies myself to try to be your vendor. I feel like the comic gods were like, Nerdtooine's involved? Shut it down. Kill it. Kill them all. We can't kill them all. Kill 85% of them. Nah. The comic gods are out to get me.
I was also like to close out on this, the actual issue. I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. Like, I was disappointed when Marvel announced that they were ending the Ultimate Universe to begin with. I was disappointed when they took back their announcement that they were going to do Ultimate Daredevil and all these other extra characters that they're planning to give runs to, right? I was sort of disappointed that they were jumping into the blind bag game for the first issue of the Ultimate Endgame, and the way they were doing it by just putting regular covers inside the blind bag. I was disappointed by that, but the issue itself, if you've been following the Ultimate Universe as a whole, like reading Ultimate Spider-Man and the Ultimates, for example, like 1/3 of Endgame issue 1 was repetitive, and it also I haven't heard anybody say this. It also spoiled the ending for the Ultimate Spider-Man series, and this is something a lot of people either didn't pay attention to, or they didn't realize, or they just don't want to comment about it online. But all the Ultimate titles are all ending issue 24 for the most part, except Wolverine. Issue 23 of Spider-Man came out in December, sometime in December, and it ended with Spider-Man taking up arms against the Kingpin and the Mr. Negative, right? Like full on brawl, crazy stuff happening, right? issue 24 comes out next month, I think, or at the end of this month. Endgame comes out in between that, and they already show you Peter Parker Spider-Man after the fight, after the conclusion of Spider-Man.
Oh my
I
god!
guarantee you, up until this point that I just said it, you didn't even know about that. But that's
No, I didn't. No, and you know, it got me the way the again, as you said, I cannot emphasize enough how upset I am that they gave us this Ultimate Universe, and I wasn't even reading all of them. I was just reading Wolverine, so you know what I mean. I can't speak on it as a whole, but from what I've heard, everyone is impressed with and liked the Ultimates, the Spider-Man, and some people even like the Black Panther one. And just the fact they had it, it got us all super excited about it. And then they just pulled the carpet out from under us and said we're ending it. Oh, and by the way, the start of the ending is gonna be blind bags. Woohoo! And I you know what, I'm done. I've officially I think I'm gonna take a break from Marvel for a while. Like I don't think I'm reading any more Marvel for a while. I mean,
and we was talking about this, like, even if you was to say, like, I don't want to support this anymore, I'm not gonna buy into the any of the Ultimate series, I want to send a message to Marvel that this is not okay. It doesn't matter anymore. All the series are over, right?
Yeah.
There's one issue left for the three the first starters. X-Men, Spider-Man, and Black Panther got one issue left, and they're coming out either this month or next month, and it's over. The main story that was being told in the Wolverine ended in issue 12, and it got extended for 4 issues. One already came out. There's 3 left. The only one that has a few more issues is the Ultimates, that is going to go up to 24, and it's like on issue 19, and Endgame itself, that it was originally solicited for 6 issues, is now 5. So we got 4 left. Like, what's left to boycott? Not that much.
You're right. No, you're right. I'm
like,
this is why we talked about this. I am just so mad that I want to do something, and I know I'm not. I am acutely aware who the fuck I am. There's my 3.
No, that's your 3. I have one. So we went over. We're gonna have to pay the Comic Co Authority a fee for going over our 3 F-bond limit.
hey, don't worry. Don't worry, I'll make them an offer they can refuse. No, but, you know, and you're right. It's nothing. I mean, me not supporting them doesn't do anything to them. They don't care. But you know, I don't know. I'm just so over it, and then I just kind of throw my hands up and say whatever.
For me, I'm just not gonna cover the Ultimate line. What's the rest of the Ultimate line? I'm just not gonna cover, with the exception of maybe Ultimate X-Men because of Peach Momoko. Other than that, sorry for the other creators. Sorry for the people that are subscribed to my channel, that follow me on social media, that because I've been covering the Ultimate Universe since its inception, since Ultimate Innovation happened.
And we've been covering in depth every issue of Ultimate Wolverine. And and I'm a huge fan of the books. I feel bad. Chris Condon did a really good job, and it had a really great story. And to see it just get tossed aside like it doesn't matter kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I can't undo that right now. Like I'm happy that we get books like The Digger, like Do Not Disturb, like Here Walks Monsters, like these great indie books that are great stories and want to give you something more than just the next cookie cutter thing they're gonna exploit for a few months and then end. Like I
don't know. I have this hypothesis, let's say, that some all musty, bitter executive, some I don't know, has been editor made this decision to like cut off the Ultimate Universe, because I can come up with a actual justification that would make sense, narrative wise, stories wise, creators wise, or money wise, that will justify just killing this off.
Right. Agreed. No, we talked at length about that because initially the only thing I can think of that doesn't make sense but makes sense is maybe whoever was making these decisions decided, well, if we just cancel the Ultimates, all the people who are reading the Ultimate line are just going to go to our main titles, right? You're wrong.
Yeah, you're
That's not
wrong.
how
You're wrong
comics
because
work.
you have people that was not reading Marvel at all that are only reading the Ultimates.
Me.
Right?
I have nothing against Marvel before, the what they've been doing recently kind of bothers me, but I just wasn't reading any Marvel books. None of them like entice me. And then
And they
Ultimate
got your
Wolverine came out, and
money,
I was like,
right?
oh,
And they got your money through the Ultimate line. So why, like,
yep.
what would you cut off that? I don't know. Somebody
It doesn't make
somebody
it's
was
stupid.
salty that they didn't have a hand in creating this, or they were salty against out of spite for Hitman that that started the whole thing, or maybe I don't know, Dennis Camp with the social and political commentary in the book was getting Marvel in hot water, and they decided to kill the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, because nobody wants smoke with this administration. Everybody's tiptoeing, turning the blind eye, or turning their back against what's happening out there. And like, there's only a few creators that are like generally putting stuff out there to I don't know, shine a light on what our world is like. Right, that happened in One World Under Doom. It was literally in an allegory for the MAGA movement and for Trumpism and all that. Right, Dennis Camp, the Ultimates, every single series is criticizing social, economical, political, and historical issues for the USA. Right? There's a few out there that are in the big two swinging at the status quo currently.
Right.
Right?
There's
So
not many.
I don't know.
No, listen.
We're living in Orwellian times, 1984. Okay, George Orwell. Go read a book, people. Trust me, it's not good. It's not
No,
good.
it's not. But okay. Hold on. We should keep politics out of comics. No, and that's an inside joke. And take a look at our previous episodes or the shorts. We've said numerous times that politics are interwoven into everything, but especially characters like the X-Men. But that's neither here nor there. What we're gonna do now, I'm gonna stop our upset, angry rant right here in its tracks, and we're gonna talk now. We're gonna transition to since it's the new year, we are here. This is fresh. Even though we started off angry, well, we started off talking great about a comic book and then got angry. What we're gonna do now is
we're gonna leave on a good note. We're gonna leave on a good note.
What we are leaving in 2025. You know what I'm leaving in 2025? And granted, this is not something that I see actually happening for the widespread community, but what I'm gonna leave in 2025 is people attacking other creators because they like a specific character and have an opinion about a specific character. Who are you to tell anybody how they should feel about the character they like? It's not that hard of a concept, people. If you ain't got nothing nice to say, then don't say nothing.
Yeah, if you are
Slim Shady,
if you're participating in these campaigns to like mass report people, to dox people, to harass people online, you're a loser. You're a basement dweller, and there's no room for you in the community, any community, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to be doing all that. You don't like what people say about something, keep scrolling. Unless it's coming at you
it is
personally.
So easy to scroll on.
Unfollow, unsubscribe. Like, it's not that hard. For me, you know what I'm leaving behind in 2025? I'm leaving behind media illiterates. if you're one of those people that um, say that are fan of the X-Men, but you have some bigotry views of the world, some racist views on the world, I'm not holding your hand anymore, right?
Yeah.
You've been wasting your time reading these books, not really understanding them. I'm not gonna break them down to you. I'm not gonna hold your hand. I'm leaving you in 2025. I don't have time for you.
I like that. And, and now I'll say this. You know what I want the community to leave behind in 2025? I want the community to stop paying attention to what like 5 people say and do their own research and understand what they're really getting into. Because there's a
Ooh.
lot of people out here are just gonna say what they need to say to get your money. And I want the community to take a step back from the FOMO for a second. Each time you about to go FOMO and realize whether or not these people are increasing the FOMO for no reason. And I say that, I'm not gonna say this is for no reason, but Absolute Batman Arc M was on pre-order on eBay and at stores for $20 before it even hit shelves. People were literally I see you. People were literally doubling the price because it was a $5.99 book, tripling the price, and reselling it before it even hit shelves, inflating the value off of the shelf. Because anyone who went into a comic shop and bought a copy, now they think they're sitting on gold.
Yeah.
And what's happening here is going to get even worse because a lot of people are submitting their books to get graded. And what's going to happen is they're going to, like, I saw someone having a pre-order for that Arc M signature graded at MegaCon by Snyder for $180.
MegaCon is what, at the end of March? At the end of March?
Yes. Yes.
So they won't see those books until like maybe sometime in June.
At the earliest.
Right?
At the earliest. Because these are going to get graded.
They're
charging $180.
CGC gets flooded during MegaCon.
Especially at MegaCon. So, oh my. And not hey, don't think about this. MegaCon and C2E2 are on back-to-back weekends this year.
Yeah, you're not going to see that book
is going to be
for like 6 months.
But then when it does come back, they're gonna be asking for $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 for it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Absolute line, while good, has created a monster that is unsatiable. And what's gonna happen is it's gonna be like a really sad version of musical chairs at the end to see who's left holding all these copies.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people getting a lot of these copies.
You can see it every time there's a new character debuting in the Absolute Batman. Those books end up on eBay for
literally Arc M.
I know Absolute Batman #1 right now has been going for like over $100 raw copies.
Dude, they're going for over 200 now.
See that
raw. Like, it's insane. And what's gonna, like I said, these people who are buying them at this elevated price,
it's hot
I'm
potato.
Not saying you're wrong.
We do hot potato. People are liquidating what their copies. People are paying for them, and eventually everybody that wants one is gonna get one, because issue 1, even though it's going for hundreds of dollars, it's already on their 10th print. So at one point, people are gonna look at that. It's like, I'm not gonna pay for whatever. I can get the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many prints of copy 1 that at one point the demand to buy the raw copy of the first print of issue 1 is not gonna be there. But listen, I also want to leave behind in 2025, not just FOMO, but I want to leave behind rage bait content. If you are a rage baiter, if you're a grifter, if you make content with the intent of citing a reaction from people, I'm leaving you in 2025. If I see you're talking about oh, top 10 characters that are overrated, and I swipe, and the first one I see it's Wonder Woman. I'm not even gonna engage with you. You're rage baiting. Oh, top 10 characters that nobody knows about, and I swipe to see the list, and the first one is Superman. You're done. You're done. And I'm not dealing with you. No, no,
No, I get it.
no,
No.
no. I'm gonna click not interested. I'm not gonna
and
engage.
that's all it takes. And that's the thing. That's one before we get out of here, because I think we started trying to make this a nice, happy, fun segment, and we're that's not what it's become at all.
No, this is fun. This is fun because I'm like dropping all this weight behind. Like I'm quitting on rage bait content. I'm quitting on Mount Rushmore conversations that don't include Wonder Woman. I'm not engaging in that. I'm not saying that I have, right? Because if I see your Mount Rushmore and Wonder Woman is not there, I'm like, okay, this guy or this person is not worth my time. It's clearly rage baiting, or they don't know what they're talking about. I just want more people to join me on this one. Mount Rushmore without Wonder Woman in it. What are we talking about? Nothing. And that's exactly what you're gonna get from me. No.
Okay, how about a Mount Rushmore of indie characters? Booyah! No Wonder Woman on there.
I'll tell you this. If you have a female character in your indie Mount Rushmore, Wonder Woman has to have an honorable mention, because without Wonder Woman, you wouldn't have female superheroes. So you gotta work it in.
I mean, listen, I'm not arguing, and I'm not doing those Mount Rushmores. I just thought it was funny. Any Mount Rushmore, I was like, wait a minute, I can think of one real quick. No, and I agree. And let's be honest. I mean, and especially, and the messed up part about it is sure, and I'm gonna say this and try to control my face as much as I can, my eyes. I'm sure they're gonna roll. Everyone has their own opinion and are allowed to have them. But when you have an opinion as wrong as that, when it comes to, hey, you might be a great person. I'm not saying you're a horrible person for not.
I got you another one. I got you another one. You know what I'm leaving behind in 2025? Respecting everybody's opinion. I'm leaving that behind. I'm leaving that behind. Because if your opinion is uninformed, is misinformation or disinformation, or it's just factually incorrect, then I don't have to respect it. Sorry. And even if it is, and I disagree with it because I can back my own claim, my own opinion with my own information, I am also gonna tell you you're full of it. I'm leaving behind respecting people's opinion. Everybody can have one. Not everybody, not everybody's is to be respected.
Well, and that goes along the line of, like, I don't know how you were raised, but I know when I was raised, one thing about respect is you had to earn it. Like, you didn't get respect, you earned respect. And if you are pushing that kind of rhetoric, you have not only not earned it, you've actually done worse and hurt your credibility.
Yeah.
And, I think, all right, the last thing I'm going to leave in 2025, and this is a real good one. I'm going to leave self-doubt. I here knows anyone who's watched my podcast or knows me at all knows I have imposter syndrome. Like, could not believe. I always doubt everything I do. And with working with Martin and getting issue 2 ready, and shout out to Josh from Challenger Exclusives, because through him I'm getting 2 huge artists to work on issue 2 covers. And with how good issue 2 is, I no longer will allow myself to doubt what I'm capable of anymore. And that's my final thing of what I'm gonna leave in 2025. I'm gonna leave that self-doubt. Bitch, get out, get out. Like Medea said, get out of my house right now. That's my final. That if I had another mic, you could just drop it and not hold on here. I'll do a mic drop. Boom, there we go. Mic drop, baby. Mic drop. Let's go. But yeah, no, that's I'm leaving self doubt in 2025.
As you should. As you should.
We pushing through. We gonna do something big in 2026. Anything else you want to leave? I kind of put a nice little nail on the head there with that one. But you got any final thoughts or any more things you want to leave?
No, man.
In the year 2025.
No, man. I need people to go pick up the digger and do not disturb next week.
Yep.
If hearing us talking about it is not enough, go check the drop off reviews that Nerd Initiative does on Wednesday. I'm gonna have a review there for the digger and do not disturb. I'm not covering any other books for any other publisher. You can check those two reviews. Check my personal notes about them, and maybe you'll have an understanding of what you get yourself into before you go and buy those books.
Yeah.
But that's all I got.
Well, hey, and on that note, one last shout out, thank you, Invader Comics, for sending Do Not Disturb our way. Shout out to TS for sending us the digger before, like. We were reading the digger before Invader got involved, so we've been on that train since literally before the first stop. We might as well be the conductors.
We already have issue 2. We're probably gonna have a Luther pretty soon because issue 1 comes out. Yeah. He'll probably come on the show to promote issue 2. We'll review issue 2. Like, great things are happening out there, especially for indie creators.
Yeah, it's a lot of respect to go into a lot of great creators. I'm happy to say me and TS and all these other great creators, we're bringing you nothing but great stories in 2026. So think about supporting indie comics. The big 2 don't need your money, but indie comics certainly do. But on that note, until next time, this is Nerdtooine. Stay nerdy, my friends.